It's still, I'm off the controls now. I'm also going to be impressed if it passes this bicyclist again.
It's picking up.
Okay, the bicyclist has signaled me. He said that, thank you. He said that go around him. You know what? My last 12 years of off-road experience just went out the window. The truck will now, well, we're not at the hardest parts yet,
no.
right? But maybe it just likes doing this. Wow, now it's hauling butt. Let's slow down. Let's slow down. Do you see this? Oh, wow.
Wow.
It made that turn.
Look at that.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So, pretty cool video of Cybertruck and FSD in an off-road environment where Cybertruck engineer Wes clarified there has been zero training. To make it very clear if it's not already, Phil Dewan, who works at Tesla, said we have unified our software stack starting with 12.5.6 releases. End-to-end is now running on both city streets and highway, one stack to rule them all. He continued 4 years after the initial release were completely end-to-end. Something tells me this will be an important milestone or dichotomy into the future, so just remember 12.5.6 is end-to-end on the highway and city streets. There are some interesting things going on with the FSD trials right now. Some users are getting emails letting them know that their trial has been extended. I've been subscribing to FSD personally for most of the year, but I just got an email saying that I'm getting a 30-day complimentary trial of FSD. My original subscription was set to expire December 20th, so it just bumped it out another 30 days. Don't forget, as Tesla mentioned on the call, they're going to do these 30-day trials regularly whenever they feel they've made a significant improvement with FSD. We are quickly running out of time on this one, but Tesla did say that version 13 is supposed to come out by the end of October, so there's a chance Tesla wants more people to experience this next version. Say what you will about global warming, but one thing you can't deny when it comes to electric vehicles and the benefits is the ability to breathe cleaner air, the more of them that are on the road. On X, Lars from Tesla was trying to make that point, showing those pictures from before and after lockdown. But have any of you actually looked at these two pictures? Because the way I see it, they are quite different. The one on the right, you have a street going right through here, and on the picture on the left, you can't really see that anywhere. Even the skyscrapers in the back of the image don't really line up well with each other. So personally, I would just be careful with this picture, and I would not get super dogmatic about using this to justify your arguments. I think a far more effective picture would be this one, where it has different dates and it actually shows us the NO2 or nitrogen dioxide levels. So if you take a majority of the gas cars off the road in just 1 year, you can see how significantly those levels are reduced. Joe Tetmeyer shared a quick video of Tesla's cooling unit for the Cortex supercomputer at Giga Texas. It's not quite fully operational, but progress is being made. If you look closely, you can see 2 of the fans in the middle are indeed spinning, so testing preparations are underway. Thought that was a good segue for this one. We have Tesla's engineering HQ in Palo Alto spilling green chemicals into the Palo Alto Creek. This quick video showing this fluorescent green material was shared by a local resident. The substance was identified as sodium hydroxide, an additive used in cooling systems. Officials are saying the liquid does not pose a risk to life or health. The fire department said the fluid was used to cool the Tesla AI supercomputer. But then things get confusing. Later in the article, they say testing is still underway to identify the material. Mike Snyder, who goes by Megapack Mike on X, got a promotion at Tesla. This month, he was promoted to the VP of Energy and Charging, where previously he served as the Senior Director for the Megapack. In somewhat of an odd move, Tesla has decided to add the Cybertruck to the referral program in the United States. So for consumers, it's awesome, but given we just got access to the $80,000 Cybertruck, you would hope that Tesla doesn't think more incentives are already necessary for the truck. Definitely don't want to read too far into it, but I'll be watching the sales figures closely in the weeks ahead. Tesla has been doing some significant expansion into parts of New York as of late. This time around, they're leasing 150,000 square feet in College Point, Queens. Tesla has been doing some expanding into parts of New York over the past few months. This time around, they're leasing 150,000 square feet of a former shopping center, which is located in College Point in Queens. This entire site was going to be razed until Tesla started showing interest. All they're saying is they're going to retrofit the former theater and retail structure into a new 2-story facility for Tesla. About 775 parking spaces are expected on site. The word is this may become Tesla's biggest sales, delivery, and service center in the world. As part of that parking lot figure, it's supposed to have 20 EV charging spots as well. You may remember earlier this year, Tesla bought a 40,000 square foot parking lot in Mespeth, Queens, and the expectation is they're turning that into a supercharging site. Given the physical limitations of New York and the fact that the city encourages drivers to go electric and the popularity of rideshare in that market, this site makes a lot of sense. Tesla kind of already called this out in their Q3 report, but the Model Y was indeed Europe's best-selling car of any type in September. Some images of what's believed to be Tesla's Project Juniper over in Shanghai are making their rounds on the internet. Given the camouflage and the pixelation, it's tough to really tell what's going on here, but the one takeaway may be the headlights. They are separated with this covering, so we can't tell for sure, but this top light may be that single light going all the way across the front. There are rumors out there that it's supposed to have a light bar like this, the one that we see on the Cybercab. So possibly the Model Y gets something like this, just with a bigger fog light or something below. I guess there's a chance this could just be one giant headlight, but we'll see soon enough. Here's another picture of the back. This one, it's pretty tough to tell anything about the rear bumper given it's all covered up. And here's just one more showing the side profile. I talked about this at length on Tuesday when it turns out I was talking to myself, but just real quick in case you missed it, this is what we've wanted to see from Tesla for a long time. This site, dubbed Oasis in California, is going to have 168 supercharging stalls, only 1.5 megawatts of grid service ahead of a future expansion, 11 megawatts of ground mount solar and canopies on 30 acres of land, and 10 Tesla Megapacks with 39 megawatt hours of storage. Plus, as you can see in the image, some drive-through stalls as well. Tesla is planning to open this site by the middle of 2025, saying when you stop by, you'll be powered up by locally generated sunshine. There's been a lot of talk about plug-in hybrid sales over the past 6 to 12 months, and in some regions, like in China, they are selling well. However, in the United States, between January and August this year, plug-in hybrids represented just 1.9% of total US new car sales. That's compared to 10.7% for conventional hybrids and 9.4% for full EVs. JD Power also said during that time there were 41 plug-in hybrid models available in the US compared to 39 hybrids and 60 EVs. As we've talked about in the past, there have been some studies that show most of these plug-in hybrids don't actually get plugged in regularly, meaning they pollute a lot more than advertised. After about a 2-year wait, Scout Motors has finally unveiled its upcoming vehicles for 2027, a pickup and an SUV. VW did confirm this brand will be fully electric. The SUV is called the Traveler and the pickup is called the Terra. VW is also claiming the Scout brand will be a wholly American independent startup. The brand has designed and engineered these vehicles in Michigan, and they plan to open a production facility in South Carolina. Their CEO, Scott Keogh, said the brand is going for a rugged, versatile vehicle lineup capable of off-road adventure and family duty. Both vehicles will have a body-on-frame chassis and more than 1 foot of ground clearance. Now, for reference, the Cybertruck can go between 8 and 16 inches of ground clearance depending on the suspension setting. They're touting 0 to 60 times of 3.5 seconds and a range of up to 350 miles is possible. They're also talking about a range extender model which can take the range up to around 500 miles, and they'll do that by including a small internal combustion engine as a generator. They're calling that the Harvester. The good news for consumers is these vehicles will have a NACS port as standard and an 800-volt architecture allowing charging up to 350 kilowatts. They're saying 10,000 pounds of towing capacity for the truck and 7,000 for the SUV. You can put down a $100 deposit now to secure your place in line, and the word is these vehicles will start around $60,000. The expectation is that these vehicles will qualify for the federal tax credit. But by 2027, who knows what that's going to look like? And is it just me, or do these designs remind you an awful lot of Rivian? Especially when you factor in the rugged, off-roading, do-anything ethos. Kinda looks like an R1T and an R1S to me. Honestly though, one of the more interesting things to watch when it comes to this whole Scout story, they did just say that the pickup and the SUV will be sold direct to consumers, bypassing the VW dealer body. Thus, Scout has likely opened the door to legal action by national and state dealer associations that have voiced frustration by a lack of communication over the brand's retail plans. This is where things are going to get murky. What's the actual distinction between VW and this Scout brand? That's because a VW Group spokesperson just said that Scout is separate from the VW brand, and they most likely did that as a way to bypass the dealership model. Scout said the company plans dedicated retail spaces and said it will establish one-to-one relationships with customers via an app that will handle reservations, sales, delivery, and service, with vehicle purchases completed in minutes. Sounds awfully familiar. Scout said customers will know what they're paying and can expect full price transparency. You know how Tesla has gotten so big that anything with Tesla in the headline now gets clicks? Well, unfortunately, the same thing happened with AG1, and I wanted to address this comment. But before I do, let me be clear, nothing I recommend on the channel is going to be a perfect fit for everyone. We all have different microbiomes and genetics and deficiencies, and the list goes on. But first, on AG1 not being certified organic, that doesn't have to mean what you think it does. First, there are endless stories of nonsense products getting fraudulent organic labels, so for me, I look at specific testing, and AG1 has a page laying out their testing that goes above and beyond for things like heavy metals, allergens, pesticides, herbicides, microbes and toxins, residual solvents, and a list of banned substances. I also think the proprietary blend FUD is a bit overdone. Many of the ingredients aren't proprietary and are actually clearly listed. And just because a company doesn't want to lay out exact amounts after conducting its own research to determine what's best doesn't mean it has to be sketchy. And finally, value and what's a good deal always will lie with the consumer, so at the end of the day, AG1 again won't be for everyone. I just prefer getting the basics that, by the way, I know exactly how much I'm getting, you can see it right here, and I've talked to their team enough and I've read through their reports enough to feel great about the sourcing of their whole food ingredients. So if you'd like to try it for yourself and support the channel, you can get 5 travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 at drinkag1.com/electrified, linked below, or using the QR code on the screen. Data from S3 Partners is saying that Tesla short sellers ended up losing $3.5 billion on Thursday alone. The article says even worse, I may argue even better. For Tesla fans, their year-to-date profit of $1.7 billion was erased, and now shorts are down $1.8 billion for the year. A chief strategist at IB said Tesla's guidance was extraordinary. At least for yesterday, the market was willing to trust Elon's assertions about sales growth. We'll see how things play out, but this could be an accurate summation of the situation. They said now, with at least some faith restored that the worst part of the slowdown in EV demand may be over, and the company is making steady progress on developing a fully self-driving car, investors are piling back into the stock. Personally, I would add Tesla's cost of goods sold continue to hit new record lows, paired with margins trending back up. And as we showed yesterday, that's still the case even if you normalize for or take out altogether the deferred revenue recognition. As we also said in yesterday's video, that was a big sentiment shifter for Tesla. Costco is getting more in the game when it comes to offering EV chargers to its customers. They just installed the first DC fast chargers at a store in Ridgefield, Washington. They'll be dual dispenser chargers capable of powering up 4 EVs at once. The chargers are from a company called Electrified, and they will have battery storage on site as well. The stations have a 32-inch display for customer info and will have contactless payment as well. Costco and Electrified are in ongoing discussions regarding the potential expansion of these stations. Costco did also recently launch a pilot fast charging site in Denver, which has 6 350 kilowatt Electrify America stalls. The EU and China have agreed to have even more ongoing talks about these upcoming tariffs. These EU tariffs are set to go into effect next week, but they're also discussing possible minimum price commitments from Chinese producers or investments in Europe as an alternative to tariffs. But the European Commission did say they've already held 8 rounds of technical negotiations with Chinese counterparts and said there were significant remaining gaps. Waymo put out a blog post with some safety data and some new mileage updates. They're now over 25 million rider-only miles. The breakdown is just over 1 million in Los Angeles, over 7 million in San Francisco, over 17 million in Phoenix, and 28,000 in Austin. Waymo has had its fair share of hiccups and maybe embarrassing moments, but overall they've managed to stay out of the headlines for negative reasons, and they are continuing to expand. Today, they announced they raised $5.6 billion in an oversubscribed investment round. The funding will enable its ongoing rollout of Waymo 1 in San Francisco, Phoenix, LA, and soon Austin and Atlanta. Remember, those latter 2 cities are in partnership exclusively with Uber. The rides in Austin and Atlanta are set to begin in 2025 using the electric Jaguar I-Pace. In April of this year, Waymo partnered with Uber Eats to deliver food across neighborhoods in Phoenix, including Chandler, Mesa, and Tempe. Bloomberg put together an article about Tesla's upcoming diner in Hollywood. They didn't tell us anything we don't already know, but they did have a nice high quality image, so I wanted to pass that along. There's still no official opening date, but based on the progress in the photos, I think Q1 is reasonable. Tesla stock closed the day at $269.19, up 3.34%, while the Nasdaq was up 0.56%. It was another very high volume day for Tesla, trading about 79 million shares above the average volume the past 30 days. So, including today, year-to-date Tesla stock is now up 7.64%. Don't forget, if you're interested and you'd like to support the channel, you can check out AG1 using my link below to get those freebies. Hope you guys have a wonderful and a safe weekend. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.